really found that just providing them with opportunities and having them skills to go off on their own is truly the best thing that you can do for any of your team members.
So, folks, I'm with Ashley Bleacher. Her and her team are at Howard Hanna, and they've been featured in our Real Producers magazine. And today, my goal is to talk to Ashley and have her relate to others from an entrepreneur, business owner kind of level. So, Ashley, first of all, thank you so much. Appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to be here. First podcast. Looking forward to it.
Let's just jump right into it. Well, you're a very talented person. And what was your last W-2 job?
So before I got into real estate, I was in the hospitality business. I did group sales for a local hotel here in Lancaster County. The historic Strasburg Inn is what it was called at that time. And I always loved working with people, just, took to helping people. And that was, sales, but real estate was very new to me. I didn't have anybody in the family that was a realtor. I really didn't even know any realtors at that time. But as I was actually working at my hospitality job, I was reading the newspaper and saw that there was an opportunity to go to a career night and decided to give it a shot. And from there, I took my classes and never looked back.
Let's talk about that decision to give it a shot. So I just saw today, and it's spot on. A friend of mine on Facebook saw the connection where he first got licensed, and now he just posted today, hey, he's giving it up, and he's been going after a few months. And I wish I could say that he's in the minority. No, that's actually the majority of people starting off.
Mm.
What made you decide to leave a W-2 role to go out with no parachutes, no salary, and
Yeah.
give this a shot?
Well, they really get you with those ads, the whole flexible schedule, make as much as you want. It's, sounds so nice and relaxing and easy, which, is far from the truth. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what first got my attention is, hey, I can work for myself. I can be my own boss. I did gradually kind of get into it. I was lucky and blessed enough to be young. I was single. I had the time. And I was, didn't need to make a ton of money at that time in my life that I could kind of take baby steps. And when I first got into it, I did realize it was hard and it's hard to find people to trust you and relate to you. And I made the decision to join a team and I was doing all the admin work for that team. So that's really kind of how I got started. I connected with the right people and got an idea of kind of the back end and how everything works. And then from there, I was able to build my own business and go off onto my own. And now I have a team of 11 and yeah, it's fantastic. At that time, I would never would have thought that I would be here, but I think just, you know, I got in the business at probably the time that people would say that's the most ridiculous thing that you could do. This is an awful timing. We're in the financial crisis. It's 2009 and, everybody is in foreclosure, short sale. But honestly, like for me, I learned so much at that time. And I really am able to navigate if we ever, come into a situation like that again, where somebody does, unfortunately have to sell their house with a short sale or you have foreclosure situation and just being able to kind of get into it and learn the back end of all of that, I think made me stronger and, really be able to hit the ground running when it switched over to a seller's market.
So I can't think of a better analogy. It's kind of like you started by making the meals first and then went out to sell the meals, like the
That's
most
exactly right.
informed server on the planet, right? Because you understood everything that went into it. Okay. Um, so what from that time of the recession, right? Yeah, that's some rough years. Anything that stuck out from being in the business at that point that really serves you well today?
Yeah, I think just, really being able to serve people. At that time, it was really emotional. It wasn't necessarily, what it is now, where people are so excited to sell their house and they have these big checks coming to them and tons of equity and, able to kind of put that into the next property that usually is, an upscale from where they're at now. Yeah, it was really emotional. And a lot of times it was, tough to navigate those conversations and discuss that with them. But truthfully, I feel like for me, that's even more of a rush of a sale when I come across those even today because it means so much to that person. And if they don't have the right person that knows how to navigate those types of transactions, they could have their home taken to foreclosure where, short sale is an option and just kind of trying to educate them and show them, the ropes and what can be done. It was really different then. I mean, that was before electronic signature. So it was a lot of, sitting down and having those conversations face to face. And, I think just being a genuine, real person and trying to truly help that person to get to where they, are trying to go.
Anecdotally, I was, there as well, at that time. I got licensed in '03, so I had a nice little peak and then went
Yeah.
through that recession. I hear people talk, that started during COVID and the
Mhm.
explosion we had then, when we had and we just had it was just this little blip of a market downturn maybe a year or so ago, and now
Yeah.
we're kind of leveling out. But like, wait a minute, what? I gotta work? I actually have
Right.
to when COVID came, it all came to them. And to me, that made many of those folks that went through what we went through probably a little stronger to handle that blur because I didn't think twice about it. I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but I didn't even think twice.
Absolutely. No, not at all. I mean, yeah, we're still doing what we do and we're still going out and we're serving people and we're looking at, hey, there's still people that need to sell, people that need to buy and we want to help them.
I'm gonna fast forward to what it is to run a team now. So it's one thing to be a great salesperson. It's another to build your own business. And then now you're leading, did you say 11 of you?
There's 11 of us, yes.
Okay. So what was the idea and the origin behind starting a team? And how have your skills changed because of that?
To be honest, I feel that my kind of goal was I was always just looking to serve others and to continue to just, grow and sell real estate. It got to a point where I kind of capped off and I couldn't necessarily take on any more clients and feel like I was really serving them in the best way. So that's when I decided, okay, I need some help here. What does that look like? And I added an assistant. So, that really helped to kinda just learn how to delegate things and have somebody to do some of the back end stuff that, maybe didn't have to be done by me. So yeah, it just kind of fell into place that way. Had an amazing assistant who was with me for several years. And my life and seasons of my life just continued to kind of change where I, got married and had some children and, that just changes, a lot of things. You have to decide how you're going to adapt and balance everything out. So, as my life continued to change, I knew that I needed to, I still wanted to do this. I wanted to, make this career my career, but I needed some additional help. So that's when I decided, okay, well, now I have this assistant and this is great and I can delegate things on the back end, but I really could use some help out there showing properties and, just helping with the day to day out there of meeting clients. And then I added my first team member. I actually had someone at my office that was not on my team, but was such just a helpful, genuine person where, hey, you need help showing a property, I'll run and do it. Or, just somebody that I could really feel good about bouncing things off of and just kind of had the same values and same culture that I did. And I kind of had that idea of, hey, we work really well together. What do you think about, us working together and you joining my team, being my first team member? In addition to my assistant. So, yeah, it just kind of it I wasn't like, "Hey, I wanna grow this team and I wanna, my face on everything and my name on everything." It just kind of happened, it just kind of gradually, as I did more and learned more and added more, people to my network and to, referral business that would come back around, it gradually got bigger and I realized that I needed the help.
you said something well, and if I caught a little change in voice when you said it, it made me think, oh, there's probably a little more there. So, and if I'm wrong, we'll cut this. All right. So,
Yeah.
uh, you said there's certain things that I didn't have to do myself. Was there a little apprehension handing off some things early on?
Yeah, 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 you got that. Good. No, as I was saying it, I was kind of like control, like letting go of that control was really hard. That was really, really hard in the beginning. Because, just training and managing is really hard too, or being like, oh, are they going to do it the same way that I do it? Not that I can do it better, but it's just you don't know, you're just kind of giving some things away and not sure how that's going to go. Or maybe, are they going to be able to do it better than me? Could be a thought that some people have of, hey, they're going to be able to do it better, and then they're going to go off and they're going to leave me and start their own team. And, I can see, how some people can kind of get wrapped up in starting a team and being afraid to give away some of that control because of people wanting to go elsewhere and do things on their own. But I really found that just, providing them with opportunities and, having them have the, skills to go off on their own is truly the best thing that you can do for any of your team members or anyone that you're looking to hire. I mean, for me, if somebody was going to lead my team, I've been truly, truly blessed with a great group of agents that have stuck around and have been with me for several years. And I don't take that lightly. And, I continue to ask questions like, what can I do better? Or what do you like that I do? And, how can we continue to kind of look at the market that we're in and change things around and make sure that there's always growth opportunities for you and that you're always feeling valued. We all get busy and it's hard to set aside that time to really have those conversations, but they're so important because, there's things that I wouldn't even recognize if I wasn't asking those questions. And I think, yeah, just providing those opportunities, the best thing that could possibly happen is they go off, they start their own team, they're super successful, and they say, hey, I am here because I joined the Ashley Bleacher team from the beginning and I learned so much and became super successful. And, I'm really happy with those decisions that I made. So, as much as, of course, it's going to hit a little hard to, personally to, have a good friend leave and go off and do their own thing. But, I think that it's very healthy to be able to support somebody from afar that would be looking to do that.
Let me underline that for a moment because it sounds like you changed your mindset.
Mhm.
You went from the worst thing that could happen is that they leave me to now saying the best thing that could happen is that they would leave me, but have a lot of gratitude for their time with me. Is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. That's a jump that many people are too fearful to make
Yeah.
and abandon the whole idea.
Yeah, but I think, thinking that way and trying to really, look at your team members of, how can I continue to add value to them and add growth to them and not being scared by doing those types of things because they might leave. If you're doing those things, most likely they want to stay and they're not going to want to leave. So, and if they do, well, then, they're leaving for all the right reasons, not because they feel like you were kind of, cherry picking or, doing things that weren't providing them with great opportunities as well.
It's amazing. Now, have you had someone, especially early on, make a mistake that was customer impacting? You think
For
of
sure.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
How how was that? How did you handle that with the team member as the leader?
I think again, just having that open conversation, I tell my team members all the time, we still have, hard conversations where things come up and it's like, hey, let's talk about this. It's a hard conversation to have. And I just say to them, look, like, you're not on my team for no reason. Like, you're here to grow and to learn and you want the support. So, as your team leader, me saying nothing would do you absolutely no good. So we're going to have these hard conversations. I'm going to give you the feedback that they gave me. I want to talk about it and come up with the solution for next time. But yeah, I mean, we're always learning. Every transaction is so different from the last, and every situation is different. And although some of these situations, they might not feel that or maybe not realize that they even did anything wrong. So if I don't tell them, they're not growing, they're not doing better. And it's important that we do know what the outside perspective is and how they felt in different situations, even if that's not how we truly meant to make them feel.
Sounds like the essence of leadership right there. I'm gonna share a little bit with me there. I was blessed to work for I'm this old, yes, internet company before it was the before everything blew up. So the beginning of internet company,
Mhm.
and one of their core values and beliefs I adopted with me as a person and as a leader, which was there's a difference between good mistakes and bad mistakes. Good mistakes, best effort, bad result. Bad mistakes, mistakes that happen through sloppiness and lack of effort. We'll always tolerate the good mistakes, but we'll be very impatient with the bad. And that served me well. And it sounds like that's very much ingrained in your own DNA. I'm very, very impressed with that.
Sure. I love that. Very cool.
So, what's the future for your business? Do you see yourself? Some usually people in your spot will either get to some point where you're trying to get out of the day to day, or they may even venture into another business or two. Or do you see yourself cruising at the same altitude for the foreseeable future? Where you at?
Yeah, I good question. For right now, I think cruising at the same altitude, I feel really good with where we're at. I've learned a lot through the years that I've been doing this. I've made a lot of mistakes and, going back to kind of just like having the same values and culture as the team members, I think is so important. Like I've had people, come onto the team and for one reason or another, we just didn't mesh well together and it didn't last. So, I really am careful with who I hire now, and who comes on this team, and I want them to be someone that, sticks around and wants to be on the team. It's interesting in real estate, there's people that you can sit with and you think, "Oh my goodness, like they are gonna be incredible," and, they're so well connected and they're just gonna kill it, and there's others that you're like, "Oh, I'm not so sure," like, they have this other job and they're just kind of, like, doing this part-time, it's gonna be really tough, and the person that you think's gonna do so well doesn't really put in the work, and the person that has the other job is the one hustling and like, putting in all the effort. And yeah, I just think you also have to be careful and ask those questions up front and not be afraid to ask those questions up front. When I bring somebody on, I have a little kind of transition time period where we're just trying to figure each other out and say, hey, like let's just, run through some of these different scenarios and let's see if it's a good fit for you and a good fit for me and before we make like any final decisions, let's do some things together and really get out there on the field and get a better understanding of how this is going to work. So, if the right opportunity comes up, absolutely, I'm not going to say no. I'm not afraid to continue to grow, but I have a really, really great group of people. And I'm just really happy with where I am. We did just hire a second admin, full-time admin for the team. So that's been a huge help with just kind of being able to continue to help delegate. And the team members are able to delegate a little bit more of their stuff, which is going to help them grow. And yeah, so I feel, I love what I do. I'm out there in the field at some points too, just because I think it's important. I for myself, I typically just take my own referral business. But, I wrote several offers this weekend and some of them didn't get accepted and they were, 75,000 over asking and fabulous offers. But it's important that I'm feeling that too, what the agents are going through in the different markets that we're in. And I think that, it kind of keeps us all connected in a different way that we can share in our wins and our losses and continue to be better.
All right. Well, I got a fun question for you now.
Okay.
Okay.
I like
Looking at
fun.
the team you have and the personalities that you have and etc. If the real estate sales industry died, okay, there's the outlawed real estate sales. Where would you take where would you take you and your team to be successful in another business venture?
Ooh, what would we be doing?
Mhm.
Probably somewhere warm. I
Gotcha.
don't know. I'd probably look into like, hey, what's going on in Florida or Tennessee, even maybe a little bit warmer. The Carolinas. I don't know. That's a really good question. I just I truly, truly love what I do. That would be really sad. um, I really enjoy being out there with people, working with people, being with people. I don't know, maybe something in like design or, something still in the real estate, realm, even if it's not specifically home sales. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I hope that we can continue to crush it. But yeah, if that was gonna happen, I'd be okay with no snow. So maybe we'd all travel somewhere south.
Love it, love it. And, well, any question, I didn't ask you that you wanted me to ask you?
Think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect and how much we were going to get into the kind of like numbers and the nitty gritty and stuff. But yeah, that's great. I love talking about my team. I love my team. And I just truly feel so blessed and so honored to be where I am. And I think it's just because, I try to give them the same opportunities that I'm continuing to get every day. And yeah, I am totally excited to share that with about my team and just yeah, no, I don't think so.
Alright, fantastic. I'm gonna stop this recording because that
Yeah.
was amazing.